Tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is brought to you by our friends at Fangoria magazine. That's right, the first name in Fright since 1979 is now an affiliate of America's Hometown Horror. And because of that, we can now offer you an exclusive 20% discount on any first-time magazine subscription or merchandise purchase by heading over to shop.fangoria.com and using the code HometownHorrorPod at checkout. That's shop.fangoria.com/HometownHorrorPod, or just use the code HometownHorrorPod at checkout for that exclusive discount on anything from Fangoria. Tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is also brought to you by our friends at Horror Facts Magazine. Never heard of Horror Facts Magazine? Well, if you're a horror fan, they're a name that you absolutely should know. You can find them over at horrorfacts.com, and they're a great resource for all things horror, including news, reviews, editorials, and lots of other horror podcasts, not only limited to, but including America's Hometown Horror. So head on over to horrorfacts.com and check them out. Now, let's get on with the show. Hello, good evening, and welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. My name is Mike, and I will be hosting you as we venture back to 1997 tonight to talk about a movie. And this is really, I think if you've listened to our last couple of episodes and then this one, we are really coming full spectrum on all of our tastes here. But more on that in just a little bit. Good evening, if I didn't say so already. Here's where you can find us online. First place is our website, which is apod.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Just search for America's Hometown Horror, and you'll find us. You can email us at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com if you feel so inclined. And most importantly, you can leave us a voicemail at 508-927-1267. That's 508-927-1267 to have your voice heard right here on America's Hometown Horror. Of course, the most important thing you can do for our show is to give us a like or a subscribe and leave us a review, preferably a 5-star review if you think we do a 5-star job. We think we do most of the time. Helps us get out to more horror fans just like yourself. So if you haven't given us a review and you like what we do, please go ahead and do so. Last but certainly not least, thank you as always to our buddy Shaun at Skywheel Media, who's now handling all of our audio and music production. And if you have a podcast that you're looking to take to the next level in terms of audio production, get in touch with Shaun. Get in touch with us, We'll put you in touch with Shaun and Skywheel Media. All right. Now that we have all that out of the way, let me introduce my fellow co-hosts this evening. With me here are Andrew and Matt. Gentlemen, good evening.
Sup, Playboy?
Hello, how are we?
How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Looking forward to talking some horror with y'all.
Yeah.
Just as always. And I guess before we get into tonight's festivities, news, and the movie, et cetera, I should probably, I can announce at this point that we, in addition to Hometown Haunts and Hops this year, will be coming to you with another live event, which is going to be at Barrel House Z Brewery in Weymouth. This is going to be a really fun night, and we were invited, essentially, to be part of a live podcast event along with our friends from the Bloody Disgusting Podcast Network, Hometown Ghost Stories. Hometown Ghost Stories were kind enough to do a live show at Hometown Haunts and Hops last year, and they invited us to be a part of this spooky podcast evening, which, again, will be at Barrel House Z Brewery in Weymouth on October 18th, which I believe is a Friday. Doors will be at 6 p.m. and will be essentially the opening band opening up for our friends at Hometown Ghost Stories.
Would it make sense for us to talk about zombies since it's Barrel House Z?
Ooh. Now, there's an idea. We have not covered any of the films of George A. Romero quite yet. There are lots of zombie films that we could potentially tackle.
I mean, Matt just popped a boner out of it.
Yeah, well, I've been wanting to do that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I would do any of the Romero films. I mean, I think it would make sense if we're going to start with one, we could go in chronological
Maybe do a
order.
zombie draft, our favorite zombie movies.
Could do something
like that.
I don't know how
many there are.
Could do something like that.
I mean, there's a lot, actually.
There's a lot that we could do there, but I think that is definitely a fitting topic for Barrel House Z, for sure. Z.
World War Z.
Ooh, World War
Barrel
Z.
House Z.
World War Z, not
thing.
one of my
That movie
favorites.
smells, but I'm
No,
just
that
saying.
movie's dog shit.
Yeah, Brad Pitt's still handsome, but not one of my favorites. The book was better, actually, in that.
Brad Pitt's got a nice
Looks
D,
good.
but I like Barrel House
Looks good. It's a good looking guy. Good looking guy. So yeah, again, we're thrilled to be a part of this live podcast event with Hometown Ghost Stories. Anytime we can work with anyone on the Bloody Disgusting Podcast Network, sign us up, baby. So we'll be there. You should be there or be square. Guys, are we excited?
Yeah, that's sick. I was pumped to see
For that? Oh yeah.
everything for that today when you were sending it over.
Yeah. Of course, I'd be remiss if I did not mention that this event is sponsored by our friend Andy Driscoll over at Inebriart, who we also work on Hometown Haunts and Hops with. So thank you to Andy for putting together the awesome poster for this event, which I will be posting on social media. Actually, if you're listening to this podcast, you've probably already seen it on social media, hopefully.
Yeah. Andy is the pod father.
He is the pod father indeed. Thank you to Andy. Thank you to Hometown Ghost Stories and Bloody Disgusting and Barrelhouse Z in advance, baby. All right. Are we ready to jump into some news, gentlemen?
Let's do it, baby.
Excellent. All right. Latest horror release in theaters, if anyone is interested in this, is the new movie from M. Night Shyamalan's daughter called The Watchers, which is not getting reviewed very well.
Oh, really?
No.
That's too bad. I kind of wanted to see this. That's depressing.
Yeah, I think it looks actually okay. I probably won't see it in theaters, but I'll check it out when it comes to streaming.
No, I won't see it in theaters, but I'll definitely wait.
Yeah.
To watch it.
Well, PG-13 action. What was that, Mike? Sorry.
Sorry. Any interest in this one on your end?
I've only seen like brief TV spots for it. I really don't know what it is. I actually, it was news to me that it was M. Night Shyamalan's daughter that directed it.
Yes. And I guess, I don't know if it's the same daughter that is starring in his new movie that has Josh Hartnett, where she's like a pop star and they're at Josh Hartnett's with his daughter at a concert. And
yeah, that looks interesting.
Yeah, that looks okay. But I guess from what I gather, this Watchers movie, it's some sort of a monster movie with a bunch of people trapped in a certain location, and the origin of the monsters is mysterious, and there's supposed to be some sort of twist, just like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. So,
see, like, no, if I had to guess the twist in this movie, not seeing it, not knowing anything, being an M. Night Shyamalan type movie, perhaps the Watchers are just the moviegoers, and the people trapped are the actors in it. Maybe.
Ooh, that's an interesting take.
Just a thought.
Yeah, maybe.
Very meta.
Very meta. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. But yeah, that's out there in theaters now. If you are a fan of Shyamalan type movies and want to go see The Watchers, you can go do that. All right, next topic. While we are discussing,
I remember this gave me a memory
of what? Maybe
the Shyamalan.
Yeah. All right, maybe don't. Yeah.
It's just maybe one moment. That was so long ago. That was inside joke.
That's okay. So while we're talking about strange monster movies in an interesting setting, I thought this was kind of interesting that apparently, and I'm very interested to see how Universal Halloween Horror Nights is going to do this. They're doing a haunted house at this year's event in Hollywood and in Orlando, so on both coasts, based on AQuietPlace. And from all the news that I've seen on this one, this is going to have scenes from the first movie, which is good, if not a little overrated. I'd say actually not a little, it's overrated. The second one, which I liked, which has Cillian Murphy in it, that's a pretty solid sequel. And there is a new movie, Quiet Place Day One, that is coming to theaters this summer. So I think they're trying to capitalize on promoting that new movie by taking you inside a quiet place haunted house. Guys, I know that I'm the only one of the three that has been to Halloween Horror Nights before, and it's, I think, the class of the haunted attraction industry and probably the best Halloween event you can go to in the country. I'm telling you, we got to get out to this event in some way, shape, or form. I wouldn't be super excited if this were like the big headlining thing this year if I were going, but I think it could be an interesting haunted house if they actually do play with sound.
Well, they should play with the fact that, like, if you make noise, you die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big. That has to be part. Like I guarantee it's got to be like you got to be silent while you're going through. Like, and they got people that like, run up on you.
I'd just be screaming, there'd be monsters.
Yeah, you would definitely be yelling. You'd be like,
Immediately dead.
Apparently, I did see that. So the actors that are going to be in these haunted houses are actually going to be trained in American Sign Language. So they're going to be using sign language in the houses, just like in the movies, which is kind of interesting. I'm sure that's probably never been done before.
Pitch black, though. How do they communicate?
Well, I mean, the houses aren't like super. Like I think they probably aren't deaf, or I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know. But if in the houses also aren't completely pitch dark, like you have to be able to see all the scenery and see all probably the monster puppets and animatronics they're going to be doing for this stuff. So I don't know. It certainly sounds interesting. And apparently the other things that are yet to be announced that rumors are coming are houses based on Ghostbusters and Insidious.
Wasn't that movie trash, the new one?
Yeah, the new one, Frozen Empire, did not do very well, but apparently that is going to be turned into a haunted house as well, but hasn't officially been announced. So, again, we got to get out to Halloween Horror Nights at some point, boys, sometime in the future, and check out this event because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's future tripping for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of Ghostbusters, people are just super interested in keep on thrusting Ghostbusters stuff in our faces. That didn't make sense coming out of my mouth.
Stop thrusting
in my face. But apparently there is a brand new Ghostbusters animated series coming to Netflix. So yeah, that's a thing that's happening.
Is it called Thrustbusters?
Ghost Thrusters. I mean, I really loved the real Ghostbusters back in the 80s and 90s.
Oh,
that was
fantastic.
great.
Yeah, those movies were sick.
If they're trying to do like an X-Men 97 type thing and do a continuation of that series, I'd be on board. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so Ghostbusters, an animated series coming to Netflix. Guys, will you watch it? Yay or nay?
No.
Nope. Okay. Guess I'll have to check that one out on my own then. It's a late news week here.
I guess.
Here's one. Next topic that I am very much excited for, and again, this is all just me apparently because I know I usually am the only one.
Worm comment?
No worm comments. Technically, this is about the thing, so technically it is kind of a worm-ish type topic. But so for a long time, we have never gotten, probably never will get a sequel to John Carpenter's classic movie, The Thing, which I think is probably the best move because you can't really top the original movie. Back in 2002, I believe it was. I don't know. It was released on PlayStation 2. There was The Thing video game that was released that picks up directly after where the movie leaves off. It was an awesome game. They are remastering it for next-gen consoles, which is going to be coming out later this year, so I can't wait to play it. But for a long time, John Carpenter did actually say that if he was going to do a sequel to The Thing, this would be probably the closest that he would have done to it. And he almost considered calling it canon at one point. But again, The Thing, awesome movie. This is a really good video game. I was pretty excited to see this was getting remade.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Very much so. And anything The Thing related for me, I'm excited for. So, got to get you guys onto the horror movie video game train at some point as well. Those are on our bucket list. Get you guys into video games that are spooky and get you guys out to Halloween Horror Nights. Okay, last topic before we move into tonight's movie film that we're going to discuss. Guys, do you remember when we talked a couple months back? I think it was beginning of this year. That Steamboat Willie from Disney had crossed over into public domain, and they're making, I think, 2 movies, a scary video game based on...
The video game's already been out.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
okay.
And that actually looks horrifying.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably pretty scary. But they're doing, I think, 2 Steamboat Willie horror movies, and one of the
just
2,
ridiculous.
It's unbelievably stupid. Would it make you any more interested in the movie if I told you that David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, is going to be playing Steamboat Willie in this movie?
I don't know.
I mean, I'll watch it. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna see it in theaters.
What's the premise of this movie?
Yeah.
Let's see if I have it here, if there even is one. Let's see. It's called Screamboat.
Real original.
In Screamboat, a mischievous mouse stalks a group of New Yorkers on a late-night ferry ride, unleashing murderous mayhem on a relaxing commute. Can the ship's motley crew of travelers find a way to stop a killer creature who has developed a taste for tourists?
I got a better description for that movie, but I'm not going to say it because it's offensive, so we'll just move on.
Probably leave it alone.
And yeah,
Anytime that
you're on
you think
probation.
anytime that you think something is offensive ahead of the time, you probably shouldn't say it.
Is it great? Sure. Offensive? Definitely.
Don't say it. Let's see. Screamboat will feature a mix of practical creature effects, miniatures, and cutting-edge virtual production to showcase this very mischievous monster slashing his way through a ferry of fear. That is some good alliteration by whoever wrote that. Oh my goodness. That is hard to say out loud. Anyway, so Screamboat coming to theaters at some point. Hey, that's what we got for news, guys. As I said, light week.
Isn't that the premise for American Tail?
Five Will Goes West. Is that the first one? Or?
No, Five Will Goes West is the second,
second
one.
one. Yeah,
American Tail is the first.
The first one. Yeah, it's actually kind of except I don't think Five Will Goes West. I don't think in American Tail Five Will is like killing the tourists.
No, they're getting hunted.
No,
that's
he just
true.
has this huge hat.
By the mice. John, when the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down at Disneyland, the Pirates
he just has a huge hat. I like Matt's description. He just has a huge hat. It's like a Burt Reynolds hat on like Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, it's funny.
Hey, it's funny. It's a big hat.
Yeah, it's a big hat.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's funny.
It's not funny. All right. That's what we got for news, guys. Unless you have anything else that you're raring to talk about.
I watched The First Omen and it was good.
Oh, yes. Okay. Talk to us about The First Omen a little bit.
It's cool. It's kind of long. I think it's 2 hours long. So it took me a couple of sittings to get all the way through, but it's cool. It starts off a little slow. And then once, like, I'd say like a half hour, 40 minutes in, you really start getting into the story. I'm not kidding, dude. It's like completely mimics the subway like miscarriage scene from Possession.
That's a great.
It's exactly the same.
Okay.
It's good, but I was like, dude, this is like, I feel like people like that movie came out or like what became available, and like there's still people that haven't seen it, so people are like just being like, oh, like we can get away with that. Or maybe they were just doing it as an homage, but still, like, I don't know. It was weird. I was like, this is like fucking shot for shot the same scene.
Did it turn you off from the movie?
No. But I was just like, wow, like talk about like not, trying to hide it.
Yeah.
But they it leads really well directly into the first movie, which I thought was really cool.
Okay. All right.
It's like moments before the first movie starts.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you felt like it was a worthy prequel, so that's good to hear. I'll have to check
And
it out.
as far as prequels go, this is like one of probably the best.
Cool.
It's good. Yeah.
It's on Hulu, right?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. I was going to say I started listening to the new Paul Tremblay book that came out as of this recording today. It's just called Horror Movie.
Yeah.
I'm about like a half hour into it, so it hasn't really gotten into any of the meat and potatoes yet, but it's an interesting concept. It's about like a cursed film that was shot in 1993, and it's like two different time periods telling about the making of the original movie, and then also people are trying to like do a reboot or a legacy sequel, so it's very meta. It's interesting so far. I'm gonna have to check it out. Paul Tremblay is very hit or miss for me.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I don't like his short stories at all. They're way too strange, and there's never any endings, which I think he is aware of that criticism of his writing, and he just kind of like just runs with it and just likes the fact that everything is just so up for interpretation. But his novels, I kind of like. I really liked Cabin at the End of the World, and the movie was different, but also pretty good. So I'll have to report back on Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. Yeah.
How much was the audiobook?
It was, I pre-ordered it. I think it was like $20.
Oh, okay. I guess it's brand new. That's not terrible.
Yeah, dude, I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago, but the new Stephen King short story collection was like $30. I was like, okay, I'm going to wait for that to drop. That's what I really wanted to listen to, but I digress.
I'm going to buy that anyway as like an actual book.
Yeah. The books, well, now, I don't know. What's a hardcover book go for these days, Matthew?
Close to $30.
$30.
$30.
So about the same. Yeah, okay.
That's a good paperweight.
All right. Gentlemen, anything else before we go to the museum here tonight?
No.
All right. Why don't we take a little break here for a word from our sponsors? We'll be right back to talk about the Relic. Talk to you soon.
It's official. The critics' decision is in. Spooky World is spectacular. Enter the new black hole. If you dare. Or the new horror House of Wax. This year, don't miss the real Jason, Bobby Pickett, or Alice Cooper. Phone the 24-hour Spooky World hotline. 508-838-0200. That's 508-838-0200. Spooky World is just west of Boston and haunts every night from October 1st till November 1st. If you had the nerve, you'd phone 508-838-0200.
It's America's horror theme park, Spooky World.
Sleepy clovers.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
The new face of evil is going to scare you to death. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. It's a killer this year. Then read next door to the Abington Ale House. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. Eat, drink, and be scary. Go to bhmansion.com.
All right, we're back. Thanks for sticking with us through the commercial break. And as I teased on the other side of our little commercial break there, we are here to talk about a movie tonight. Hop with us back into the time machine. Go back to 1997 to talk about a movie called The Relic. And I mentioned this at the very beginning of the episode, and Andrew and I were talking about this offline before we first started. These last 3 weeks, I feel like between this movie tonight, so we're now doing it in succession the last 3 weeks. Possessor from Brandon Cronenberg, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, and then The Relic. So you got a very weird, new sci-fi, twisty, crazy horror movie from Andrew, then just a bleak, depressing, very brutal look at the serial killer underworld in the 80s from Matt, and now a very 90s practical effect heavy monster movie from me. I feel like if those three films don't showcase our tastes in a nutshell, I don't really know what does.
Well, the one
that is a perfect lineup.
one thing they all have in common, though, practical effects.
Yeah. I don't think it's anything crazy to say that as a horror fan, most people or most horror fans prefer practical effects to a bunch of CGI and just a big old
No, there's some
CGI
really
mess.
good CGI effects in this movie, though.
There are.
Like
yes.
at the very end, so good.
Yeah. There's some. There's.
I kid.
I was gonna say
So bad.
some of the CGI isn't as bad as some of the other CGI.
I mean, it's a 90s CGI.
Yeah. But
What
It's
the,
just the explosion.
the explosion at the end, which we'll get to. That's
Classic scene. One of the best scenes in history.
in the history of cinema, in the history of film.
It made me so happy. I don't know. There's a few scenes where I laughed a lot, but I digress.
Yeah. I think there were a few intentional laughs in this movie, and there were a lot of unintentional laughs.
Which makes this the perfect Mike pick.
Yeah, for sure.
This
Absolutely.
is everything a Mike pick
Yeah.
would pick.
And it's funny because so Andrew said to me before, he's like, you pick a lot of 90s horror movies. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't really feel like I do, but so I picked this, obviously. We talked about Deep Rising. That was a Mike pick. We talked about The Mummy. Obviously, that was just kind of a jokey type pick, but it's a fucking awesome movie that I love. I think that's all I picked from the 90s.
But I mean, there's a lot of
we talked about
Tremors is very similar.
Tremors.
Type.
I forgot about Tremors. Yeah.
Tremors.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's others that we forgot about.
I know from the 90s we did an episode on Nightbreed, but that was your pick, Andrew.
Yeah, and that's a way different style feel.
We've done Scream. That's obviously a cat
We did
pick.
Event Horizon.
Event Horizon from this same year.
Different feel.
Yep.
Yeah,
different feel.
that was with Justin
Mike's
Glassman.
90s movies have a very similar feel. They're very monster heavy, just over the top American cinema at its finest. This is American cinema 90s, just the way this is like Dante's Peak. Just like this is what it doesn't matter whether it's Twister, it doesn't matter if it's a horror movie, this is what the 90s is all about, just fucking bursting at the seams.
Yeah. Especially post Jurassic Park 90s movies.
Yeah, I almost said Jurassic Park, then I was like, I cannot besmirch Jurassic.
No.
Not that this movie's bad.
No. But obviously, Stan Winston did the creature effects in this movie, and Stan Winston obviously created the dinosaurs for Jurassic Park. So we'll talk more about him in a little bit. before we get too off topic here, I should just introduce this movie for all who may not have heard of it, because it definitely didn't do that well when it was first released in the 90s, but it has since become a bit of a cult classic. But The Relic is a 1997 American monster horror film directed by Peter Hyams, who the only other movie that I knew in his filmography that he directed was End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, so he did that one too.
That's a movie.
It's based on the best-selling 1995 novel called Relic, written by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. This one stars Penelope Ann Miller, Tom Sizemore, Linda Hunt, and James Whitmore, and the film follows a detective and a biologist as they try to defeat a South American lizard-like monster, which is on a killing spree in the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago. The film was released in the United States on January 10th of 1997 by Paramount Pictures. Grossed only $48 million I should say, worldwide, against a budget that was reported to be between $40 and $60 million, making it officially a box office bomb at the time of release.
10 million of that was towards Tom Sizemore's cocaine habit.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. You can rent this little gem, The Relic, on pretty much any platform for $3.99, as I did on YouTube TV.
Seems a bit steep.
Come on.
That should be $1.99 at best.
Yeah, it should be a little cheaper, but I'm not going to complain. $4. I mean, come on, people. What are we doing here? So yeah, this obviously, this is definitely a me pick, as I acknowledged before. And it's the type of movie that I love. Andrew touched on a little bit here, but 90s movies like this, just a few that I thought of, like Mimic, Deep Rising, Lake Placid, et cetera, Anaconda, Tremors. I mean, obviously Jurassic Park is in a different stratosphere from those movies, right? Most of them, I would say. But that type of movie really helped solidify my little 90s mind as a big fan of monster movies before I really delved into some hardcore, older stuff as I got a little bit older. And I would say to you, listener, if you have not seen this movie before, if you can get past the premise, which is pretty ridiculous in and of itself, not pretty ridiculous, it's ridiculous. This is a solid little monster movie. I think the creature effects are awesome. Again, Stan Winston never misses. The Cathoga is the monster, which actually was changed from the novel because it was, I forget exactly what it was, but the the cigar-chomping Hollywood executives thought it was going to be too difficult for mainstream audiences to pronounce, so they went with Cathoga. But I think the creature design has aged really well. I think when you see it, there's really not too many other movie monsters like it. It's a unique design.
It reminded me of Predator.
It looks like a Predator.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A Predator too.
Definitely got like the mandibles, like the Predator. It's got some lizard to it.
Almost like a saber-toothed tiger.
A little bit.
Kind of like a big like reptile, like warthog thing.
Dude.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, it's definitely got some worm.
A little bit, yeah.
Like it's
the
moving,
tail's
it's
long.
moving through the
Worm tail.
through the water. Pretty worm-like.
Big old long tongue.
See how worm-like I can be.
Big old long tongue licking Penelope Ann Miller's face at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that was yucky.
Yeah. The monster stuff in this though, it hits. Like there's some scary shit with the when there's a couple scenes where there's a bunch of people in an underground tunnel underneath the museum in chest high water, and the monster's down there attacking people coming out of the water. That's pretty scary. Like when you first see the monster, Matt, you said it in our text earlier. You're like, whoa! You get little. It does like the Jaws thing, right?
It just like grows throughout the movie.
Yes.
Like it just like you see more and more of it, and then you actually realize how big it is, and you're like, oh fuck.
It's also kind of weird that monster needs to be on like a nicotine patch because its fucking breathing is horrible.
Dude, the wheezing was out of control.
It sounds like people I work with. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You can hear that. You can hear that monster coming from a mile away for sure. But also, I mean, hey, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
I was gonna say, but they are in Chicago, and they mistook a homeless guy for it. So it's like it could just be some.
That is true.
Fat
they blew that
homeless
fucking
dude.
homeless guy away real quick.
Yeah, they blasted him.
What else in like a 90s movie, what are you supposed to do with homeless people other than blow them away?
Or what's the new term that people call homeless people now is
bag people?
Unhoused. That's
unhoused.
Unhoused. That's what people are calling them now. Which, okay, cool. But
trash people.
again, related to the practical effects, if you like gore, there's some pretty fucking gnarly kills in this movie and a whole bunch of blood. When it gets going, there's a lot of people that fucking bite the dust in this movie.
Oh yeah,
It's
a lot of
people
people.
get-
It's got to be in
everyone
the
gets their
upper
head
50.
off.
yeah, and everybody gets decapitated. Everybody.
Oh yeah, because it's for the hypothalamus or whatever the hell the name is.
Hypothalamus, I think.
Hypothalamus. Yeah.
Yeah, which I was gonna say.
Which I was like, we're really gonna buy into Tom Sizemore, knowing what the fuck that is?
Yeah,
Like, I
no,
don't know
that
about
didn't
He
hit
doesn't
for me
seem like
either.
the type.
But I mean, like, so that's that was one of the weaker areas for me. Was like the mythology of the monster throughout the movie, right? It just like kept changing. It doesn't make all that much sense, but again,
It
like,
makes literally zero sense.
None.
By the end of the movie, it's like, oh, this is part mostly human. I was like, you haven't found this the entire movie.
Yeah.
And now it's just that's the guy that was over. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah, I didn't
it's
really-
him mixed with a gecko and
Yeah.
a lizard
Yeah.
or a fucking beetle. I was like, what is going on?
well, there's a part where like Penelope Ann Miller's character is like running a DNA scan on her computer, and you see like a gecko, a rhinoceros beetle, a tiger, a few other things
And
too.
then
So it's like a
some
mix.
dude.
It's supposed to just, I guess, pick up on the DNA of whatever eats that weird shit that's on the leaf. Like that was all weird to me too. But
Yeah.
again, it's a giant monster movie in a museum. Suspend disbelief. Also, sidebar. I think a museum is a really cool setting for a horror movie. Like
Oh,
how the fuck
Underrated.
how the fuck has nobody made like Night at the Museum but horror yet? Like I feel
Well,
like
it's
that is
kind of like that Willy's Wonderland or whatever.
yeah.
That's
Willy's
sorta like
Wonderland
that.
was like more. That was more like a Chuck E. Cheese type thing. But I'm picking up what
Yeah.
you're putting down there. I guess Annabelle Comes Home was kind of like a Night at the Museum but horror type thing. I actually really like that movie. If
I
you,
didn't see that one.
I've
Yeah.
never seen that.
it's one of the spin-offs from the Conjuring movies.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah.
But it actually wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was pretty much just like Annabelle is at the house in the museum, and just like everything in their collection comes to life. And it's pretty good wide array of different monsters and things. It's cool. So check that one out. Yeah. So again, on the opposite side of the spectrum, and then I'll kick it to you guys. The characters and their motivations, fucking ridiculous. Just it's just like the dialogue, not exactly fucking Shakespeare. And the acting, I would say, is probably what most would not call Oscar worthy.
I mean,
here.
Shout out to Brooks
Mm.
from Shawshank, though. He was
Yes.
good. I did like Brooks. So I
Yep.
was like, let's go.
Yep. There's a few like character actors in here. They're like, oh yeah, I know this person. Yep. Fucking one of the security guards that gets killed when he's in like the control room when everybody gets trapped in the main room is, if anyone watched The Sopranos, that's Richie Aprile from The Sopranos, which I immediately picked out. I don't know if you're a Sopranos guy, Matt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, half the cast of this movie worked as teachers in Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, that's also true. Yep, I did pick up on that. Tom Sizemore, probably I think one of his few leading roles before he people kind of found out that he had some demons and kind of was a piece of shit. But he's been in some solid movies in between.
But he's dead now, so rest in peace.
yeah, he's dead.
Oh, he's dead. I didn't
Oh, he
know that.
died. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
2
Did
years
he
ago.
kill himself?
He died from, I think it was like cardiac, some brain aneurysm. Actually.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
so
really?
probably
Probably
something that
from
was
cocaine.
I was
Brought
brought
on-
on, he did a lot of drugs. He was
brought on
fuck
by
that.
excessive drug use. But I mean, he was in Saving Private Ryan, True Romance, Heat, Natural Born Killers, Copland.
I forgot he was in Saving Private Ryan. He's actually pretty fucking good in that.
He's actually
good.
that's
He's
his best
actually a
role.
pretty good actor. He just
Yeah,
was a piece of shit.
piece of
I
shit.
like. I mean, I don't hate him in Natural Born Killers. He plays a good, like, fucking real scumbag cop in that.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of scumbag actors out there. He did a lot of bad things, but there's a lot of scumbags out there still working today. And obviously, one of the best meta roles in all of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was Tom Sizemore's little brief role. And you guys know that one?
You'd have to remind me. I'm
So
blanking.
he plays a trucker driving like an 18-wheeler, and he picks up Dennis and Charlie.
Oh, when they're out going to the wedding.
Yeah, they're going to the wedding, and
Yeah.
he basically is trying to get Charlie and Dennis to have sex with him, and he's saying he wants to crack
Yeah.
him open like a coconut. Fucking hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, overall, again, this isn't fucking Citizen Kane here. We're talking about a ridiculous monster movie from the 90s. This is meant to be fun, and I think you can have some fun with this movie. So that's my little spiel on it. Matthew, why don't you let us know what you thought of the Relic?
Yeah, this was cool. I like this. It was I was kind of like because I couldn't remember if I'd seen it or not. I definitely haven't. So I was like, all right, yeah, this is something new. Oh, like new for me. But of the because I remember like Deep Rising,
Yes.
not liking that. I was like, all right, like let's see
Yes.
how this goes. But this was cool. Like the monster and it's cool.
I didn't think
but-
that you would like this movie very much. I'm not going to lie. So I'm excited to
No,
hear
it's
that
fine. I mean,
you
it's like it's not good, but it was like I didn't mind it. Like you know what I mean, like that, like it's bad, like acting and like you know what I mean. It's cheesy, but
It's
like
certainly cheesy.
that doesn't make me not like it. Like I still was able to enjoy it. It was fine. Like I had no issue with it. But on like a realistic thing, it's like it's not it's not an Oscar winning movie.
No,
But
of course
you know what it
Sure,
reminded me of though? I was wondering if they drew any inspiration from the segment from Creep Show, The Crate.
Ah,
That's some
Not the
museum
monster
horror.
design, but like
Yeah.
the story. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like so it's very similar. But I don't know. I did like that it beheaded everything and it didn't eat anything. It didn't eat anybody. It just cut everyone's head off and spit it out.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just sucking its little chunk of brain out and
Yeah.
that's it. But
Wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
hungry. It was just getting what it needed
Yeah.
and moving on.
yeah, but it had good like those practical effects were pretty good. Like all those you saw a lot of that. It kind of took a little while to like really like get going, but once it did, it was good.
It
Like,
definitely
it made it more fun.
it felt long. It felt every bit of 2 hours.
It's almost 2 hours, yeah.
it's a little long.
Yeah, they could have cut some shit and made this a tight hour and a half movie. I think they could have
Yeah,
definitely
for
done
sure.
something.
A lot of the stuff about like I forget the actress's name, but her like trying to get this like grant and like I don't care about this lady's job, dude. I just want to see this monster like fucking eat people.
Yeah, I want to see this monster eat her weasel coworker who was trying to suck up those rich people to get that grant and steal it from her.
Yeah, exactly.
The first hour of this movie is so long.
Yeah,
It really drags.
yeah. I can see that for sure. Yep, valid criticism. What else, Matthew? Anything?
No, I thought this was a good pick. It was on par. Like it was of monster movies. This is definitely it's not bad. It's a hit. I think it's kind of a hidden gem.
Awesome. Glad to hear it, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Andrew, talk to me about the Relic, mon frere.
This is everything a Mike pick should, would, and could be. There's nothing about this pick that makes me go, I'm surprised Mike picked this. This is like when I pick any movie that I've ever picked or any 80s trash horror movie that we pick. This is 90s trash core. This is the ultimate just overpay. They spent way too much money on this over the top horror movie when it could have been done. Like there's a lot to this movie that could have been so much better. The story, like the dialogue's terrible. The acting's terrible. The monster's fucking sick. The monster's sick. A lot of the death scenes are pretty cool. There's a lot that it has going for it. So if this movie had just been like dumbed down and just used like a lesser budget, it probably would have done much better. But it had to play along to that 90s style of just excess.
Yeah.
Excess. Speaking of excess, the amount of glass that is broken
the
in
glass
this
is crazy.
excessive. It is probably I don't think that I've ever seen more glass broken in any movie that's ever existed. It has to be in the thousands, tens of thousands of pounds of broken glass that I've ever seen. There's like an hour and 5 minutes into this movie, there's a scene that just resonates and made me laugh so hard when the monsters escaped through the museum and everyone's trying to get the fuck out of there and they're just pushing each other into the doorway to leave, and for some reason every wall of glass just explodes with a body blasting through it, falling downstairs. I was like, what the fuck is even happening right now? And it made I started dying. It's one of the funniest scenes in cinema history.
It's to the point that you don't even realize what direction people are falling.
Dude, they're just falling for no reason. And like the lady's head like just explodes with blood on the glass. And I was like, Why are they? Who's pushing so hard on this person?
All these panicked
It's
rich
just-
assholes
Just,
trying
just
to
a
get
bunch
out.
of gala boomers, just like I'm at this museum. Oh, smash! You're dying now. And then, like at the end of the movie, she's smashing every piece of glass that's ever existed on planet Earth to kill this monster. It's literally like I don't know where they got all the glass to make. I'm curious how much money they spent on glass alone.
Or
It's
fake glass.
that's probably all
This
just
is not
sugar.
fake
Yeah.
glass. This is all real. It's so real. That's real glass.
You think?
Oh, I
No,
think so.
dude, that's all
They might-
fake. They just added the sound effects.
You think so?
100%. They wouldn't have people running around with fucking broken glass everywhere.
That makes sense, actually.
True. It looks real.
They use it's like made out of like sugar, like candy.
That would be way more expensive just making a wall of sugar. Just walking.
Maybe, I don't know. It's the
Can I-
90s.
Can I have
They
some?
had
Can
the
I eat
budget.
it?
I don't know. I think that's real glass. I think they're walking on broken glass. Not to quote a famous song or anything. But,
The same scene you're talking about, by the way, when all the people are falling down the stairs, also fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it is. It's
This
like
is
the
when the
scene in
movie kicked off. This was when the movie got going.
Yeah.
it's like the
an
scene in
hour and I was like,
Titanic.
Anything's gonna happen, and then all of a sudden it's just madness. And I was like, oh, all right, here we go.
What
I
we,
can get down with it.
what we say, Matt?
As I say, it's like that scene in Titanic where because what it does shit hits the fan and like when the boat breaks and everyone falls off and the dude like flies down and like nails the propeller on the way down. You're like Jesus.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dude, Titanic, by the way, movie of the year in 1997, baby. That was the year of
Ooh.
Titanic, year of
Got out of it.
James Cameron and Leonardo
Greatest
DiCaprio
man.
exploding onto the scene, and Kate Winslet, Billy Zane, Bill Paxton.
Oh yeah,
Got me
They're
some
all
love.
up there.
I got me some love for Titanic. That's a good movie.
Celine Dion.
Celine Dion. My heart will go on.
I used to call it Titanic when I was a kid.
Titanic. Yep.
Yeah,
That was.
yeah.
Yep, my dad used to say that too. Titanic.
PG-13 boobs.
PG-13 breasts in an artistic fashion. That was a big moment for Mikey boy in the theaters.
I went home and had some nice material for the spank bank.
I mean, they weren't even that nice, but it was a monumental occasion.
They weren't that nice, but they were breasts.
They were. That's again. This was not 2024. You had to work with what you were given, folks.
I was given breasts, and I took what I could.
I accept it. Yes, I gleefully accept it. Oh God. Andrew, any other overall thoughts on the Relic before we dive a little bit deeper into this movie?
I mean, to me, it's still a worm movie. It's a worm movie through and through, and you can say it's not, but to me, this is the ultimate Mike worm movie.
Yeah.
It's got all the aspects of
I
it.
mean, I guess I won't argue with you there. I won't argue with you there.
Now, in technicality, is it a worm? No. But was it born from a parasitic worm, perhaps off of a leaf that stemmed with some humanoid saber-toothed tiger? I don't know. But it started as a worm.
Okay. All right. So in terms of 90s monster movies, you two, is The Relic better or worse than Tremors?
Worse.
Agreed.
Worse. Yeah.
Yeah, Tremors is better. Better or worse than Lake Placid?
Worse.
That's a tough one, actually.
Yeah, they're like the same movie. Actually, no, I think I like Lake Placid better.
Yeah, Lake Placid's a pretty
Give me
good
a
movie.
crock.
Better or worse than Anaconda?
Worse. I like Anaconda. That's a special place for me.
Yeah, Anaconda's a good one.
Yeah.
J-Lo, baby. J-Lo.
Mhm.
I, I just like John Voight.
John Voight.
Ice
And Ice
Cube, dude.
Ice
Ice
Cube's
Cube?
great. Yeah. And Owen Wilson's good. And that redhead in that movie. I love that redhead.
Oh, I forget who she is, but I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about. Better or worse than Deep Rising?
Worse.
Better.
Oh,
See, I think Deep Rising's
I
better.
really like Deep Rising.
I
a
actually
lot.
think I'm surprised Matt likes this more than Deep Rising.
I think I like Deep
as
Rising.
corny
better.
as Deep Rising is.
Yeah.
At least it's like part of like the Kong verse, and it's like
Deep Rising that's like a sister movie to The Mummy, directed by the same guy. It's like the same archetypes of the characters, like terrible
same guy in
90s
it, right?
CGI. Oh, yeah,
Benny?
the guy that plays Benny in The Mummy is in this. Is like a different character. I had a couple better or worse than what was another one that I had? Fuck, I don't know. It'll come to me. But okay, all
Deep
right.
Blue
So
Sea.
Deep Blue. All right, better or worse than Deep Blue Sea? I think
this
this
is
worse than Deep
better.
Blue Sea.
Oh, really? I like that.
I'd have to see Deep Blue. I think I've seen the movie once, like 40 years
I
ago.
love Deep Blue Sea.
That movie's just a little too fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
This kind of like the thing about this movie is it kind of like once you're in the like once the gala thing happens, like you're just in the museum the rest of the movie. It's not really like too much to like deal with. You're just there.
Yeah. Also takes itself very seriously. There's like a few
Yeah, it
little
does.
haha jokes in here, but this is like
It takes itself a bit too seriously.
oh yeah, this is very serious, which I think is why I liked like a movie like Deep Rising a little bit
Tom
better.
Sizemore's overacting this movie is a bit much.
I mean, I get like Deep Rising knows it's a fucking
when Dr. Margot takes his bullet and sticks it between her breasts, and I was like, what are we doing in this movie? Oh, it's just so I'm like, you like this guy? You actually like this guy? This is just wild to me. That they would never get along.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, I don't
definitely
think so.
not.
Yeah. The whole gag about Tom Sizemore getting divorced and losing the custody battle for his dog, that made me giggle a little bit. And then that kind of brought the whole thing full circle when he found the surviving police dog down in the sewers. Also, hey, not a fan of doggy deaths. This is you might want to look away at a certain point in this one. Poor little police dog. That's too bad. That's too bad. Anyway, guys, there's some fucking crazy behind the scenes shit about this movie, okay? You want to hear some of this?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. So if you're not going to get Tom Sizemore for the lead role in this movie, who do you think the director would have had for his first choice? This is a pretty big drop-off to Tom Sizemore, I'm not going to lie.
So this guy's worse than Tom Sizemore?
No. I'm saying it's a big drop-off from this actor to
he
Tom Sizemore.
He probably wanted like Mel Gibson.
He wanted probably one of, if not the biggest movie stars of the last 50 years, starring in two iconic franchises to be the lead detective in this movie. That would be Mr. Harrison Ford was the first choice.
I'm surprised he didn't pick this role.
Yeah, I think Harrison Ford was a little bit busy for this one. But Harrison Ford was director.
Yeah, he was a little busy doing Regarding Henry.
First choice. Or What Lies Beneath? That probably came out around the same time too.
That's actually
a couple years later,
yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer. Did we talk about What Lies Beneath in this podcast? Was that a cat pick?
We never talked about it, but someone brought it up.
It had to have been Cat. Cat loves that movie. Okay. So the role of Dr. Frock, which I believe is the Penelope Ann Miller's mentor who's in the wheelchair.
Brooks.
What?
Isn't that Brooks? I'm from Shawshank.
Okay, that's the guy you're talking about. Yes, so him. So listen to this gaggle of actors that were considered before it went to that guy, okay? Alec Baldwin, Al Pacino.
Whoa!
The same. Please give me.
Whoa! It just like shows up as a bug monster. Oh, whoa! Whoa!
I was so banking on you doing that. I'm so happy.
It was bad, but it's just still there.
On the same spectrum as Pacino, De Niro also approached for the role.
Like, is this guy delirious, thinking that he's going to get delusional?
And maybe out of all those three huge '90s actors, Alec Baldwin, Al Pacino, De Niro, pretty handsome, pretty famous. Christopher Lloyd also in the talks for that role. Marty, we must get back to the outside of the museum, Marty. Fucking unbelievable.
That would have been good.
With the budget, they could have probably paid for these people.
I think, honestly, the majority of that budget went to Stan Winston's creature effects. Which, while we're talking about that, so the Cathoga, by the way, the monster, has a total of 4 minutes of screen time, which seems light. Also, the correct way to approach the movie, though. This is the Jaws approach. Show less up front, show it at the end, and when you do see it, it looks pretty good.
And spend your entire budget on it?
Spend your entire budget on it. Have no script, have terrible actors, have a terrible plot, but make that fucking monster look sweet, baby, which Stan Winston did, in fact, do. So I have here also, by the way, again, I mentioned this before, but the monster in the film is called Cathoga, possibly because actually saying the word that it was called in the novel, which it's spelled M-B-W-U-N. Mboon. I have no idea. Definitely a lot harder to say than Cathoga. In the novel, Cathoga was the name of the tribe, which the monster is the legend of, but the tribe goes unnamed in the film. So that's where they got the name of the creature from.
Isn't it a demon?
It was some sort of a demon god monster type thing. Again, all of that is left, I'd say, mostly unclear.
And somehow, this is where I get confused. This demon monster thing bred with the scientist that was over there, and like the eggs that were on the leaves. Like I don't know what the fuck's going on.
So,
to be completely honest.
All right, let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah, please.
So here's what I gather. So that guy, Whitmore, the doctor
Whitney?
at the beginning, Whitmore.
I thought it was Whitney.
Maybe it's Whitney. I don't know.
James Whitney.
Whit something. So he drinks that soup that the tribe gives him at the beginning.
Soup.
And then
Yummy.
then he's trying to get his crates off of that ship. Finds out they weren't actually on the ship, and then gets on the ship and must start turning into the monster. But the leaves that were in the crate that had that weird fungus on it had something to do with it too.
Yeah, but so they got sent on a different. They got airmailed there.
Yes, correct.
So he never got there, but the leaves made it there, and then his DNA somehow on the leaves. It makes absolutely zero sense.
Yeah.
None of it makes sense because
No.
he's like screaming, "Don't let it on the boat!"
Yeah.
Not on the boat.
It's not on the
Then
boat.
he gets on the boat.
Yeah.
Kills everybody.
Yeah.
Never makes it there. They all die in the port, and then the other boat, then the shipment got sent by plane and is there,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
he's in there. So I don't understand who's the big plot hole, huge plot hole.
Also, let's talk about this. I'm a 37-year-old man. I'll be 38
Sure are.
in October. Did you know that it was possible to sail from the Amazon
to Lake Michigan.
to Lake Michigan?
I mean,
I had
Apparently.
zero idea.
I mean, technically, sure.
How?
Has anybody done
How does
that?
one do that?
Has any? Well, you can go up the
Eastern
St.
Seaboard?
Lawrence the passage,
Okay.
but
Maybe I'm just an idiot then.
who's doing this?
Yeah. I would wait. It was found floating in Lake Michigan. When they said that, I was like, "What?
Yeah,
the ball?"
immediately I thought that this took place in New York because that would have made sense.
Well, so initially it was supposed to take place in New York. That was changed.
I wonder
from
why,
the
because
book.
they're like, oh, yeah. So this package is found in the Lake Michigan. I was like, fucking Nessie. Like, what is going on? Is that
Yeah.
Champ?
Yeah.
Champ. It's fucking wild. What a
yeah.
wild fucking story.
That fucking threw me for a loop. I was like,
Because
okay.
it makes zero. A lot of this movie makes absolutely zero sense.
So I guess this in the book, this does take place at the Natural History Museum in New York, which I've actually been to.
And so, why did they pick Chicago?
Apparently, the author, or one of the two authors of the book, used to work for the New York Natural History Museum. And the book, just like the movie, paints the management of the museum in an unfavorable light.
So
And they
got pissed.
wanted to basically shoot it in New York, and that museum told them to go fucking pound sand.
Could they have just gone to like a museum? I don't know, Boston perhaps, or
Maybe.
something else on the East Coast.
Maybe.
Not,
Dude, if this place took place at the Science Museum in Boston, that would have been fucking nuts.
yeah. Why don't they
I
think
don't
there's
know.
like a science museum in Boston? Like that'd
Yeah.
be sick. Like other than we get the town and fucking the Departed, we don't get
Departed.
anything good.
Dude,
Where's our monster?
could
But
you-
we get no monster.
Could you
movies.
imagine the Cathoga running around killing people in the Buger Omni Theater, the planetarium? Oh my god. that'd
What if
be
they were
fucking
just at,
nuts.
what if they were just at Mom?
at Mom at Jordan's Furniture in Avon, just a rampage through a furniture store?
Just eating Marsh's blueberry muffins.
Now,
Like what the
Jo-
fuck is
the
going
best
on?
blueberry muffin since Jordan Marsh. That's the most boomer thing anyone ever says ever. The best blueberry muffin since Jordan Marsh. Whenever I hear that, I'm like, fuck off. Go away.
I didn't know they were so famously known for their blueberry muffins.
Oh, dude, I feel like I know a lot of people
Does
in my
anybody
family.
really like blueberry muffins that much?
I mean, they're good. They're not.
Are they like the pinnacle of pastries? No, it's a fucking blueberry muffin. Give me a cinnamon roll and shut the fuck up. I don't
Or
want
give
your
me a
blueberry.
pistachio muffin or a chocolate chip muffin
Yeah.
any day of the week.
Let's go.
Pistachio's the king, on top of Mount Muffin for fucking sure. All right, we are Mount Muff.
Mount Muff.
Mount Muff, baby.
That's sign up.
No, I'm here. I'm
No,
just taking it in, bro.
You just sorry, we were going off on a tangent.
Mount
there.
Muff.
Yeah, Mount Muff. Let's see. So yeah, I guess in addition to shooting on location in Chicago, a set was built in Los Angeles for the underground flooded tunnel scenes. Tom Sizemore spent most of his shoot either damp, cold, or soaking wet, and as a result, caught the flu twice. Or could
As
be
a result,
cocaine-related.
beat the shit out of his girlfriend.
Yes, he used to date Heidi Fleiss, the Madame.
I don't know who that is.
She was a pimp back in Los Angeles.
What?
Yes. No,
She was-
a female pimp.
A flimp.
A madam, as they say.
A madame.
A
Wow.
madame. Yes. Look up Heidi Fleiss. He used to date her. Yeah, that's the one he beat up.
Was he one of
the
her
many, I
her
think.
hoes?
He might have been. You know, Tom Sizemore released a sex tape.
Yeah, actually, I did.
With
know
who?
that. That's weird.
I don't know. Apparently, several women. At which point, he claimed that Paris Hilton was one of them in the video, which she has come out and vehemently denied.
It's actually Paris Hilton's brother, and he's like, I was not high on drugs when this happened.
Dude, here's a crazy fact for you. Okay, so we were talking about Jurassic Park earlier, and Stan Winston's effect on Jurassic Park, and obviously on this movie, Jurassic Park. Much more of a lasting legacy for our friend Mr. Winston.
Sure.
Here, okay. Do you remember the opening scene of Jurassic Park?
Yep.
Joffrey, raise the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Joffrey meets a very poor end, courtesy of one of the Velociraptors. Stuntman and actor Joffrey C. Brown plays the security guard who becomes Cathoga's first victim in the museum.
Oh.
Mm.
4 years earlier, he also appeared in Jurassic Park as the animal handler killed by a velociraptor during the opening scene of the film. In both movies, he is, number one, the first character to die on screen, and two, killed by creatures that were designed by Stan Winston.
And three,
Wow.
smoking some weed.
Cool
Smoking
little
some weed?
fun
Good
fact.
for him.
That could be a trivia question right there that nobody would fucking know.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
that's,
that would roast everybody.
That's not a trivia question. That's an insane person.
If you
question.
listen to this podcast,
Yeah.
you would know. If you
I
don't.
don't know if you watched The Relic, but if you don't,
Oh,
and maybe you
Oh,
don't.
when we do our next trivia, whenever that's going to be, there's going to be a relic question in there. For fucking sure.
And I'm gonna guess that nobody gets
Nobody
that.
will get it. No, probably not. One more cool thing I saw here. So the giant monster head gate through which the superstition exhibit is entered, which I thought was a cool design. That was basically the thing you walk through to get into the
very
exhibit.
cool. Yep.
That is a replica of an actual thing. It's called the Orcus Gate at Parco del Mostri, which is Park of the Monsters in English, and it's in Bormazzo, Italy. Carved over the entrance in real life are the words, quote, "Lasciate ogni speranza voi centrate," which translates in English to "abandon all hope, all ye who enter here." I know that was probably a horrible
Are you
pronunciation.
sure it's not a whale's
Italian.
vagina?
Pardon me, it's not a whale's vagina. And according to the Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, those are the words carved on the entrance to hell.
Oh.
Mm.
Little another factoid for you. That'll be a trivia question too at our next live event. So
yeah.
I hope you guys
Hope
are
you're
fucking
listening.
taking notes. All right.
Yeah, this is for our people who speak fluent Italian.
Oh God.
And we will accept a whale's vagina.
A whale's vagina would be accepted. I feel like that is a fair answer to any translation question. If you
I mean,
you know.
going into a whale's vagina is like probably going to hell anyway. So
True. Probably true. Oh God. Let's see what else here. You guys want to hear about some other horror and horror adjacent films from the year 1997, my friends?
yes.
All right, let's run through them here. So I expanded this a little bit because we've covered a couple of different movies from this year. And I went back and looked through my list. I was like, that's not a lot on there. I got to expand this a little bit. So the two movies that we've covered from 1997, we already mentioned Event Horizon. We did that movie when we had Justin McLaughlin on. We also did The Last Broadcast during one of our found footage Februaries. That's a pretty cool little movie as well. We also got in 1997 Alien Resurrection, which is my least favorite Alien film in the franchise.
I think it's everybody's. Well, yeah, probably.
Yeah, definitely. Matt, we got An American Werewolf in Paris in 1997. Have you ever seen this?
No. I heard it's really bad, so I just never bothered.
Yeah, I've heard it's really, really bad too. But apparently it is like a supposedly, tied to the lore of the first movie, to which I
think it's supposed to be a sequel.
It is. Oh yeah, no, it
Luke's-
certainly is.
yeah.
I think it's David and what's her name's
Their
son.
son. Yeah.
My Psalm.
My son. We also got Anaconda in 97, which according to
Anaconda,
you guys is a
My
superior monster
Anaconda,
flick.
don't.
That's okay. I will.
I don't think it's superior. It's just a better movie.
Better movie.
The snake in that movie is fucking pretty cool.
Yeah, I like
Like,
that's
that's fucked up, dude.
That's a pretty scary movie because first off, I don't
Dude,
like
a man-eating snake? That's
Yeah,
real.
snakes
Those
are real.
exist. Yeah.
Like this weird fucking monster in the Relic.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's scary, but
well, and the crazy part about that too is there's actually legends of giant snakes like in interior Africa too that a lot of people say it's like
dude,
a
it's like anything
yeah,
with like squids scares me because those
Yeah.
things are giant.
tentacles, worms.
Dude, I believe that as much as there's ants and grasshoppers in my backyard. Like 100%. Those
Oh,
exist.
Yeah, for sure. We also got in 97 a movie called Cube, which was directed by Vincenzo Natali. This is another cult classic that I've yet to see. Any of you guys heard of this or seen it?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, fair enough. We also got in Andrew, 97, The Devil's Advocate,
Ooh.
Fantastic.
starring
I
Al
love that.
Pacino,
And little Keanu.
Keanu Reeves. Oh, I
So
thought you were going
good.
to do another Pacino there.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize
Yeah.
Theron.
Yeah.
Yep. Once one Pacino was enough for you, that's okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I can do that all the time.
Sirs, in 97, we also got the original Funny Games.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think I couldn't remember. I was like, is it 96 or 97? But yeah, no, that's coming up. We're gonna be doing that one soon.
Fun fact, never seen it.
Any of them?
Boy.
Never seen
Sorry.
Oh, so we got another movie to ruin Mike's night.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. That's
As I
wild.
take a large swig of my beer.
Yeah,
Fun,
that's gonna ruin
fun.
your day.
Guys, an underrated film from the David Fincher canon in 97, starring Michael Douglas, The Game.
I love that movie.
Great
Good
movie.
movie. Sean Penn.
Mhm.
Very weird. Like, not really truly horror, but thriller.
No,
Weird,
Stressful.
like
great, just a
Yeah.
great movie.
almost
Yeah,
like
it's
a
like a stressful movie.
it's like a big movie length Twilight Zone episode almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. We also got I Know What You Did Last Summer, which yeah. Slasher
Never did
movie.
it for me.
It did it for me just because of Jennifer Love.
Jennifer Love
but
Hewitt.
That's fine.
Gorgeous. Just simply gorgeous.
Simply the best.
That's always good.
Yes.
Actually, I think it's simply the breast.
That could also be that. Yes, I'm surprised you didn't go there at first. We also got not the Michael Keaton Jack Frost movie, the horror Jack Frost movie in 1997, which I've never.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I've never seen it. I think Shannon Elizabeth is in it.
Oh, no. Oh, another specimen. She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Good Lord. I got some homework to do here. We also got Leprechaun 4 in Space.
I don't think I've actually seen that one.
Never. Nope.
It's on my watch.
Yeah, I missed that one.
That's okay. Hey, I'm not saying that we have to see all these. I'm saying I'm just mentioning
Dude, I
what's
mean,
coming out.
No,
this
yeah,
is-
I like
it's
when
the
you do these.
worst- This is one of the worst, like 96, 97, 98, probably the worst horror time.
There's
The 90s are bad
yeah.
with
real
horror
bad.
pretty much in general.
This year's not that horrible. I'll keep going. We also got from David Lynch Lost Highway, which is a very fucking scary movie.
I've never seen that.
Never even heard of it.
There's one scene. It's Bill Pullman, who's awesome.
I do like Bill
think
Pullman.
Patricia Arquette is the female lead in this movie. There's one. It's a typical David Lynch, very weird, very strange, doesn't explain a lot, but there are some really creepy scenes in Lost Highway. It's not quite as good as
Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive, but it's fucking creepy. Check out Lost Highway. Again, horror and horror adjacent for this list because I wanted to expand a little bit. We also got The Lost World, Jurassic Park, which is Jurassic
Cool
Park
sequel.
2. Cool sequel. Goldblum back, my man. Vince Vaughn, Julianne Moore.
Yeah, I like. It's fine.
There's some good,
It's
awesome creature effects
yeah.
again.
The
killers-
little dinosaurs that killed
Dinosaurs
the
were
little
cool.
girl at the beginning. That's fucked up.
That's right.
Yeah,
The Compies.
that girl got everything she was asking for.
The Spinosaurus is in Jurassic Park 3. That is the third one. This is
Yeah,
the
that
one that
was-
has the 2 T-Rexes that rip a guy in half. And this is introduction of the... Nope, that's also
okay,
Jurassic
so
Park
that's
3.
that's the third one's with William H. Macy and Tia Leone.
Tia Leone,
Yeah.
Sam
That's
Neill.
right.
Yep,
He's back in that.
that's correct. Gentlemen, huge influence on me in the 90s. Good movie, Men in Black.
Oh,
Not
Great
horror.
movie.
Oh,
I always like that.
fantastic.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite '90s movies.
Yeah, I love that movie.
That's
Dude,
up there
the-
with like not a horror movie, but Mars Attacks. It's up there.
Yeah.
Another fantastic-
The bug guy, Vince D, or I forget his name.
D'Onofrio.
Oh,
Yes, thank you.
Edgar.
Egger.
Yeah, dude. His like transformation as the movie goes on is like horror worthy.
And
Like,
hilarious.
He's also
It is, but he gets like fucking scary looking.
Oh yeah,
he's also one of the greatest actors alive.
He's awesome.
you
Yeah,
ask
he's
me.
a beast.
very good actor.
He's awesome in The Cell too. I love him in The Cell.
Full Metal Jacket.
Give me sugar
Sugar
and water
and water.
and water. Oh, is that better? Is that better? Edgar, your skin's hanging off.
Your skin is hanging off your bones.
And do we know who that chick is?
Oh, she
His
is.
wife
She's
is
from-
Kramer's
Seinfeld.
girlfriend.
Seinfeld,
in that episode. Yeah.
Oh my God,
And she's in the house that Jack built.
Oh,
that's
yes.
right. That's right. He Jack kills her. She's the one that he.
Sure does.
Yeah, he sure does.
As he should.
Scrapes her face off.
Uh-huh. Guys, the movie that I almost considered in place of The Relic is Guillermo del Toro's Mimic, which came out in '97.
See, that's funny.
another-
That's what I thought this was when you initially said it.
Right up there. Mimic's better.
Mimic is
much
better. Yeah, it's giant killer cockroaches in the subways of New York City.
Who's the female doctor in that movie?
Oh, it's Mira Sorvino.
Ah, that's right.
And who's the
Mira
cop?
Sorvino. Oh,
Dude,
I don't know, is there a cop?
like
I'm
the,
just
the,
kidding.
the theme for these movies is it's so similar.
I know
It's a
Norman.
doctor,
Reed-
a cop, a scientist.
I think Norman Reedus is in Mimic, if I remember correctly.
And why is the scientist always a female? And they're always right at the end.
Because they're smarter than us.
Yeah, they're
These
ripping.
movies are ahead of their time. Like
Yeah,
these are like women's rights movies, right?
yeah. Oh, dude, Mimic, big bug movie, women's rights for sure.
Men in Black,
Absolutely.
dude.
Relic.
Bug
Men in
movie,
Black.
female scientist.
Absolutely. Guys, we also got Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Speaking of horrible special effects, terrible special effects. Matt, here's one I'll be interested to know if you have seen, because it's very underrated. The Night Flyer. This is a adaptation
Oh, yeah,
of a
dude.
Stephen King short story
Yes.
starring Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah, this movie rocks.
It's
Good
awesome.
monster.
Dude, very good vampire design. Good monster.
Yeah,
design.
very, very scary vampire.
That's one you would like, Andrew.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
I've never heard of that.
Yes.
That's good.
Some cheese for sure.
Yeah,
weird,
cheese. It's
weird,
Stephen King cheese, though.
weird premise. Very good. You would like it. We also got a movie called Night Watch, starring Ewan McGregor, Patricia Arquette, Nick Nolte, and Josh Brolin.
A star-studded
Yeah,
cast.
loaded cast. Never seen it. Anyone?
I think that's on Shudder right now.
It is.
Okay.
I keep scrolling past it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I didn't realize that was the cast.
No, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Shudder, never been a big anime guy. I've heard a lot of people say if you aren't into horror animes and you want to watch one that you'll like, check out a movie called Perfect Blue.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've never watched
So-
it.
It's been on my Shudder watch list for a really long time. I think it's still on Shudder. I'll have to check that one out because it's at the top of my mind again now, talking about it on this episode. All right, Scream 2 in '97.
I like
in
Scream
here.
too.
Yeah, Scream 2 is good. The opening scene is awesome.
Yeah.
Jada Pinkett Smith getting killed. That's always good to me.
I don't even think I've seen that movie.
She stinks. Speaking of stink, we got I'll cross over into TV for this one. We got the Mick Garris directed The Shining TV miniseries starring
I
that's
don't
actually
think
not
it's
bad.
Steven
that
Weber
bad.
as
I
Jack
kind of
Torrance
think that's pretty good.
and Rebecca De Mornay.
Yeah.
Yep, as
I
Wendy
don't think
Torrance.
that's that bad. It's at least faithful to the book.
It is.
Have
It
you
is.
been the people leaving muffin stumps?
I haven't even. So I think I watched this once.
It's good.
I'll have to give it another shot.
It's not.
Yeah, it's
bad.
not bad. I like this. They do a good job with the
Stephen
scene
King
with
prefers this
the
to, Kubrick's.
animal shrubs moving around.
Yeah,
Right?
and this actually has the fire hose like attacking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Stephen King actually
The
prefers
beehives.
Yeah. He just hated everything that Kubrick did with it. So I'm not surprised that he prefers it because it's more faithful to his book.
He was butthurt.
Yeah, he was all bent out of shape. Guys, we also got Spawn in 1997, which they've been
I
trying
was
to
waiting
remake.
for you to say that.
Yep.
Spawn's underrated.
Yeah,
I like this movie a lot too.
not bad at all. And they've honestly been trying to remake this movie since
For
1997.
fucking 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking poor Todd McFarlane just can't get anybody to fucking make this. There's like the last I heard a few years ago, they were trying to get this remade with Jamie Foxx playing Spawn, which I mean, okay, I watched that.
Jeez.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Django Unchained in Hell.
Can't they just get like
Yep.
old Danny Glover to play it?
Oh, that'd be sick too.
Samuel
It's,
Jackson.
it's just like Spawn, like in like a nursing home.
I love it.
Yeah,
I've heard worse movie pitches before.
it's like Bubba Ho-Tep. It's like the same thing.
Another movie that I fucking love, Starship Troopers. Fucking love Starship Troopers.
Big old
Anything
bugs. I know you like that.
Anything with Denise Richards in the 90s was good.
Ooh, yes. And who's the fucking main guy? The handsome guy. What's his name?
He's terrible.
Casper Van Dien.
How do you know his name?
Because I loved Starship Troopers.
His name is Casper Van Dien.
Yep.
It's the whitest name I've ever heard.
Gary,
not just because it's Casper, but
Jake Busey's in that, along with Neil Patrick Harris. Michael Ironside's in this. Dude, Michael Ironside gets bitten in half. It's a gnarly death scene. I love Starship Troopers.
Yeah, the movie's sick.
All right, two more. We got Trucks, which is a Canadian TV prequel to Maximum Overdrive.
I've never heard.
Pass. No, thank you.
I would actually probably watch that because it's Canadian.
Canadians. And last but certainly not least, we got Wes Craven's Wishmaster. Not directed by Wes Craven, produced by Wes Craven.
Not terrible. It's okay.
You like that movie, right, Andrew?
I think I do like that movie. So with like the weird dude, the weird white guy that's like the Wishmaster.
No, it's like a big monster.
Yeah.
I was thinking of something else.
It's like if you mix like Jeepers Creepers and like Pinhead together, that's like what it is.
So up your alley for sure.
Yeah, probably. I'm thinking of something else though.
Okay. All right. Guys, that's the year 1997 in horror, my friends. Anything I forgot that you can think of?
Jesus, I don't think so.
No.
Fair enough. Guys, any further thoughts on, let's see, The Relic, 1997, Denise Richards, Rebecca De Mornay, anything else related to 97 that we want to talk about before we put a bow on this bitch and sign off, before Andrew introduces his movie for next week, I should say?
No, I think that's it. I think I know what Andrew's going to pick next week.
I think everybody knows.
I think we do. We're going to have a special guest on for next week.
That's right. Don't reveal that yet.
We will not reveal the special guest. But we're going to be talking a movie that I've been chirping about for a long time, and finally my cohorts have been able to watch it. Godzilla -1.
Fuck yeah, baby.
Let's go. Best movie of the last year. So
yeah, I'm excited to talk about this monster
I'll
movie.
Watch it again.
2 weeks in a row, baby.
But I've seen this movie like 5 times now. I just keep watching, and I've seen it like 3 times throughout, but I keep watching certain scenes now that I can watch it on Netflix like over and over again.
Yeah, this will be my 3rd time if I rewatch it.
It's so good. It's the best.
You see, I like that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, should be good. It's about time. Get a newer movie. I do want to talk
about like a brand new one.
I feel like it's been a while.
Late Night with the Devil is the last like immediate release.
So I think June 28th, we should be getting In a Violent Nature released on Shudder, perhaps.
That's sick.
Because that would be a nice. I'd like to talk about. I really want to see that movie to begin with.
Yeah, me too.
First Omen, I would be down with talking about that movie if you think it's worth it too. So
First Omen's cool.
I just need to get my login for Hulu because I no longer have access to it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I'll give you my Hulu. Why would you?
Well, I'm gonna watch First Omen.
Yeah. So I'll give you my Hulus. Don't worry about it. I'll give you the Hulus, bro. All right. So Godzilla -1 next week. Let's fucking go. All right. Well, this has been another episode of America's Hometown Horror. Thanks so much for checking back in with us. We certainly appreciate your patronage and your support. My name is Mike. I've been joined by Andrew and Matthew in this journey back to the year 1997. Hope you had fun with us. Gentlemen, say goodbye to your listeners.
Goodbye. I will leave you with this relic
to
take you through the times.
By the way, they said the title of the movie in the movie for this movie a lot. They said the word relic a lot of times.
Yeah, they did.
That's like a Leo DiCaprio meme pointing at the screen. Peter Griffin excitement.
They said the relic in this movie as much as they broke glass.
That's also true. A lot of glass. All right, bye.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and I want to say thanks again for listening to another episode of our show. If you're interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I'd highly recommend you check out the shows from our friends over on the Inebriart Podcast Network. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find shows from Inebriart, The Old Colony Cast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, and Retro Redoctopus, so head on over and give them a listen.